Hi and welcome to the first vlog of Victober. This year I started Victober on the 1st of October with some reading sprints together with most of the hosts, which I was very honored to be invited for. I think this is going to be my 4th year that I'm going to participate in Victober. I think it's going to be my 3rd year that I participate while also having a YouTube channel. The first book I decided to pick up is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I own this book in the Penguin cloth-bound edition, and if you own these editions and you use them for more than just a display purpose, you know that the hardcover can get damaged quite easily while you're reading it. So I decided to make something that I've been wanting to try to make for a while, and that is a book sleeve. I used a piece of fabric that I had in my stash. It is a flower pattern. It's a bit elastic, so while it's very difficult to sew, it is very forgiving when you try to turn it into a sleeve, because if you're using 100% cotton, then you need to add the elastics at the side yourself, but I didn't have to do that with this one. So I will get back to you in a little bit how I feel about Great Expectations, but first enjoy some b-roll of me making a book sleeve. Alright, this is Great Expectations, but I will get it out of the sleeve. I don't know how easy it is to get it out again. Apparently very easy. So I'm 100 pages into Great Expectations, which is a perfect place to update. I feel like I've been doing some cleaning today and I'm mainly listening to the audiobook, but I'm also reading along with the audiobook at times. I don't know how I feel about this yet. We're still very much in the early stages of this type of novel where we follow one main character, Pip. I don't really think I have to tell you what it is about, but we follow him through his childhood as he is raised by his sister and her husband, and her sister is very cruel. I've seen adaptations of Great Expectations, but his sister is so much crueler than I remember. And Jo is someone that I really, really love. I think Dickens generally is great at giving working class characters really a heart, and Jo has a big heart. And I am now at the point where Pip is making the first steps towards growing up. So he's not really a boy anymore. His life is changing and he is starting to seriously work. So I'm 100 pages in, and this book a little under 500 pages. So it's not very far, but I would like to finish this one this week. So also while I'm filming this vlog, because I'm not really reading anything else. I don't know why I wanted to start with this one. I kind of wanted to get this out of the way. Not in a negative way, but because I knew I would be delaying this if I wouldn't read it right away, because I don't have the best relationship with Charles Dickens and I very much want to change that, and I feel like this book could. So maybe I will also read the play I have put on my TBR for the new woman fiction this week. I don't think I'm going to start The Way We Live Now to the group read yet, because I did decide to order a physical copy, and that is taking a few days to get here. So I might do that later in the month. But so far my reading is going well.
Hello everyone and welcome. You have made it. Here is the first day of victober, and it fills my heart with such joy.
I am a little over 200 pages through of Great Expectations. Have I shown you this beautiful bookmark yet? I bought this when I bought the book, I think, from Carolyn Marie's Etsy shop. And I forgot that I had it, but I put it in a book, so it was quite a pleasant surprise. Having read a little bit more, the plot has really taken off and I've been really enjoying this. I've seen adaptations, but I mainly remember the beginning and I kind of forgot the resolve of the book. So I'm really excited to kind of discover that again. There are some things that you want to know and I don't remember. It's becoming a really engaging read, and I even think this could be a 5-star because I just really want to get back to it. I want to read it. The writing is lovely compared to other Dickens that I have read. This is quite a singular narrative, which I do usually enjoy more. So I'm almost halfway through, having a wonderful time. But in the meantime, I read the play for the new women fiction front. I read The Case of the Rebellious Susan, a comedy in 3 acts by Henry Arthur Jones. This is about Susan, who finds out that her husband, her quite new husband, has been cheating on her. And she decides that she might as well get back at him by also cheating on him. We meet various different characters throughout this play who all have kind of a say in this, or have an opinion about this, and it's very much about the difference in how a woman and a man should act. The comedy part is just so funny and witty because it's all about people making mistakes. I know it's hard to describe what kind of comedy it is. It is a little bit like Oscar Wilde, but I think a little bit more on the realism, a little bit less on the absurd. I just found this very readable, very fun, and there were 2 quotes that I want to share with you. So one of the men says, "We have Sir R." Well, he is constantly referred to as Sir R, but he is, I think, Lady Susan's uncle or previous guardian, something like that, but he's I think my favorite character because he seems to be the only wise one, but he's constantly giving people marriage advice without having ever been married himself. The kind of comedy you can expect from this. I think it's on the same level of The Importance of Being Earnest, which I enjoyed equally and found equally funny. I'm going to bring her back to her senses. A woman has no right to shake the foundations of society in this way. I shall tell her very plainly that this kind of behavior must be put to a stop. And then Sir R says, that tone won't do with Sue. Send her over to me. The Admirable is very heavy on his patriarchal rights and him having been a big scoundrel. Sir R is one of the people who gives a little bit more nuance to that. In Act 1, on page 3 actually, it's really explained what it is about just in the dialogue. So Lady Susan says, I'm going to follow Jim's example. I'm going to pay him back in his own coin. Yes, dear, yes. That's what we all say at first, but we don't mean it, and it can't be as bad as that. Lady D and the Admirable are, I believe, married, so they are much more the example of what a married couple should be. My dear, we can call it what we like, but men are men and they are led away, and the rest of it. And then Lady Susan says, very well, I'm going to be indiscreet and infatuated and the rest of it. My dear child, that's impossible. It's kind of the exploration of what the options are and what the characters do, and this one big comedic mess, and I loved it. I would highly recommend this, and thank you so much to Katie for recommending this, because I would not have found this without Katie. And then yesterday my copy of The Way We Live Now came in. My edition is 750 pages, so that feels more doable. But again, I'm saving this one for later in the month. I've been watching a lot of Victober videos and I've been really enjoying that. It's always one of my favorite things during Victober is to watch just people's Victober videos. So that's been a lot of fun. Found a few new booktubers who made Victober TBRs. If you've made one, let me know in a comment down below and I would love to watch it. So for now, I'm gonna read more of Great Expectations. Hi, it's Saturday afternoon and I have a little over 100 pages left of Great Expectations. We've gotten to plot bits that I completely forgotten, that took me by surprise, that were just so exciting. In a way, a bit of a round circle, and I think this definitely was the perfect pick for the class prompt. Pip is a character who was born working class and he always dreamed about being a gentleman. And I think Dickens does such a smart job at playing with that, at exploring the possibilities and the dangers of what Pip wants. Of course, I kind of knew that and that's why I picked it for the prompt, but it's so much more layered than I thought it would be. And I think if I compare it with something like Oliver Twist, where it's much more straightforward what Dickens wants to do with it when it comes to class, I think it's way more an exploration in this book and it's something for you to figure out. And somehow this reminds me quite a bit of Hardy as well. The reading experience feels quite similar as when I was reading Far From the Main Crowd. Maybe not Tess because it's not really heartbreaking in the same way, but the focus on one main characters and dangers of what they want and how it can resolve in different kind of ways is very much like Far From the Main Crowd, and this will definitely be my favorite Dickens. I think it kind of depends maybe on the last 100 pages whether it's gonna be a 5-star, but it definitely could. I'm having a great time, very engaging. I am thinking of what my next Dickens is going to be. It will probably be A Christmas Carol. I think I've been rereading A Christmas Carol most Christmases since I read it first. I don't think I will pick up anything else Victorian literature wise. I will finish this hopefully kind of today. I would like to do that. I would like to just sit down and read this. I mean, this sofa is so comfy, so I think I'm gonna put my ass down and read the rest of Great Expectations, and then I'm gonna take a little bit of a break from Victorian literature and just read spooky and scary books from all different genres with the Spookably Board from Back and the Books, which is a readathon she's hosting. I think I'm gonna spend a week reading those books and finishing Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, which is our Hobbitses book club pick actually for September. So I've already started that book but put it away for a little bit to focus on Victorian literature, and then the last 2 weeks of October I'm going to read my other reads. I will definitely read The Way We Live Now. Maybe I will take it into November, I don't know. I really want to read the Elizabeth Gaskell. I think I might listen to the audiobook of that one because I found it on my audiobook app, and I don't know if I will read the book I got for the prompt for Stranger or an Outsider. I don't know if I will get to that. I think I will read it in 2023, so either November or December if I don't get to it for Victober. But last month was such a good reading month for me. I read 16 books and on the 1st of October I finished another one. So I read so many wonderful great books, and usually when I have a month like that I have a bit of a slower month the next month, so I don't know how that's going to go. And of course I have my vlogs planned, but the vlogs I have planned for October don't have the strict TBRs or strict TBRs I have the vlogs I have planned for the rest of the year, so I have a little bit more leeway I guess. I really wanted to rewatch Dickensian, but of course I cannot get a hold of a DVD or a streaming service that has that series. So I don't know how I'm going to find that. I mean, I've been to thrift stores quite a bit, so maybe I get extremely lucky and find a copy of that. I'm talking about cute things from a thrift store. I got a new TBR jar and it's my favorite thing in the world. I mean, how freaking adorable is this thing? It's so cute. I think it's hand painted. It looks hand painted. And it has the most satisfying, wait, I'm holding my microphone. Most satisfying little pop. Woo. So I have a TBR jar with, I think in this one, I have one that I'm planning to use for a vlog, and I have a little booklet that has my top 20 classics TBR, but I think I will put those in here as well. But it's quite a heavy jar, so I'm using it as a book stand currently. But I love going to the thrift store, and my thrift store has a little corner that is for vintage stuff, but it's like so vintage that I don't dare to touch it in case it will crumble. Sarah from Sarah's Perusals said, since you're sewing so much, you should get a vintage sewing machine to put on your shelves, like as a piece of decor. And I said, that sounds awesome. And I did have two, I think, but they were all quite pricey because of course they're like vintage, so I didn't buy any. But that seems like such a fun decor piece, because I've been thinking like about being creative and what that means to some people I see on social media a lot, and those people usually are really good at one thing and they usually sell the thing that they're really good at, and I admire that so much. But me, I'm much more of a multifaceted creative, which is a hard word to say, but it basically means that I do a lot of things, and I always joke I do a lot of things, but none of them I do very well, but that sounds a bit self-deprecating. But I just love discovering new creative things to do, and I have these phases in which I try to teach myself a certain skill, and maybe it takes a few weeks and then I find something else. I've been doing that for years and years now, with me being sick and having a lot of, well, I have a lot of time on my hands, but not a lot of that time is usable time. But I do really like to do some creative stuff because that's really wonderful mentally. So currently I'm kind of into sewing, which if you've seen some previous vlogs, you could have seen that. And I taught myself to crochet, and I don't love crochet. I prefer knitting, but I've been trying to crochet a little vest with a lot of yarn I had left from when I was into knitting years ago. So I'm happy to be able to still use all the stuff that I bought for that, because being a multifaceted creative is pricey. I have a really big cabinet in the living room that's a bit of a mess currently, and I do want to organize it better, but that has basically stuff for so many different projects, and I do use them, but you have always things left or just certain tools that you need for a hobby. Like I have so many embroidery stuff, I have so many stuff for sculpting, for clay, for painting, just anything and everything, and I would like to organize it better, because when I want to try to do something new, I go into that cabinet and try to find the stuff that I need. But reading will be something that I always love. I also made this, of course, in this vlog, so sewing is still very much there as I love. Recently I've been really enjoying going to the thrift store and trying to upcycle some things, which I think you can really see in my house, which I really enjoy. We used to have a decor that was just stuff that people gave us and some IKEA stuff, and now most of the stuff that we have is either bought secondhand, just like Facebook Marketplace and things like that, or from the thrift store. I enjoy it way more than having IKEA stuff in the house. This mirror is from Facebook Marketplace. This light, which I recently put up, is from the thrift store. This is the one I got for free, and it's so cutesy. Like those little frames on the left are all from the thrift store. And this is the sofa I got from Facebook Marketplace. That is so comfy. These shelves are clearly from IKEA, of course. Oh, and this little side table is also from the thrift store. I mean, so is most of my outfit today. I mean, I got these from Lucy and Yag, and the shirt is from the thrift store, which is like a very simple shirt. You can never have too many t-shirts, in my opinion. Hi, it is Monday, and yesterday I finished Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, and unfortunately the last 100 pages didn't blow my mind the way I had hoped it might. So this is not going to be a 5 star, it's definitely a 4 star for me, because I felt like the last 100 pages were, as you can see, I have a hard time with words, but while the plot was, I think, very adventurous, very revealing, very plot twisty, it didn't really work for the way that you want the characters to develop. Some it did, but for the main characters I felt like the ending didn't work for them. It didn't feel very satisfying looking at what could have happened, what could have been done with the characters. I think it's my overall issue with Dickens that characters are not really people, but more like types. I don't really feel that strong character development that I think a character like Pip really needs, and it drives a big part of this book, but just not really the ending, and I was quite disappointed, I think, by the ending. But overall I think this book has saved my journey with Dickens, because I am excited to read more by Dickens now. 2 books I would like to read is David Copperfield, because I like Damon Copperhead so much, which is a retelling that came out this year of David Copperfield. So I would like to read that one because I know it's very beloved as well, and Our Mutual Friend is one that I see a lot of people really loving as well. So those are the 2 that I think are going on my Dickens TBR, and they wouldn't have gone up there if I hadn't enjoyed Great Expectations in a way that I did. So that is my Victober reading for this week. Like I said, I'm going to take a little break, but at the end of October you can expect another vlog in which I'm going to read the group read and hopefully a little bit more. Let me know how your Victober reading is going and what you're currently reading for Victober. For now, I hope you have a lovely, lovely day or evening, and I hope to see you in another video. Doei!